you know, you can also not come and tell us the shortcomings of that CAFIS. And we have an act that is as old as 2012, we are in 2024. If they came here and said, we want you to assist us with 1, 2, 3, don't just tell us the shortcomings. I've seen, I don't know how many staff members. Is he also even proposing that in this committee that we need to amend or help them with the regulations? So those are the, you know, I think we need to talk about real things, Chair. If I'm allowed, we can put away these questions and let's have a conversation. And I think that is the best approach. Let's have a conversation instead of this question number 1 was this, question number 2 was this. And even the other question you can ask the CS, do you have other information that you think is important for ourselves and also even for Kenyans that we may know because we may have missed it in our questions? So let's not just do this reading question 1, question 2, but let's have the conversation so that we save Kenyans and we know how to get ourselves out of here.
Honourable members, I think we are jumping the gun. We were going to have a conversation with the CS. He has made his presentation. We will dissect the presentation, and we should get the answers from him, from the questions that we are going to ask from now on. So probably I would like us to be a bit orderly. Let him respond to your point of order, whether from now on you are going to react to the issues that are there. And of course, we shall ask you the questions that pertain to the issues that are ongoing right now. Then I think we'd like to be a little bit more orderly by taking a few more, then we can probably respond to the point of order, Honourable CS, and that of the Vice Chair.
Chairman, let me say that, you know, I'm open to discussion, and I'm always willing and ready to share any information that I have. And I know, just like Sabina has put it correctly, that Kenyans are waiting for an answer. So if we leave this meeting without really telling them what it is, we will really not have answered or met their expectation. So if we were to discuss things generally without really having to go to deal with the issues of the questions, then we would be able to be more forthright, more open. But you know, when Brighton and my friend asked about fake fertilizer, when you look at these questions, there is nothing like a question on fake fertilizer. So I cannot answer questions which are not being asked. With a lot of respect, there is nothing. So unless if you really wanted me to mention about that story, which I can't because I don't know what you really wanted to interrogate through this question. But if we were to really say, this is a conversation between the ministry and a team that gives us support. You want us to share openly because we mean well for our people. It becomes very, 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 very easy. So, Chairman, I do not have a problem. If there is any, I am a very honest and very straightforward person when it comes to issues of public interest. And I am ready to give information without really even being forced to. But because the responsibility of ensuring that we have enough food in the country rests on the President and I as the person running that docket. And you, because you are also representatives of the people, and when there is no food, you really have to work out ways of trying to really support our people. So our engagement on how we can do it better, I am ready.
Okay. Thank you very much. You are ready. Now let's be systematic. And this letter was written after the expose, before a lot of fake fertilizer was found its way in the market, and many people now open their eyes to it. So I think we will have to ask questions as it were now. I will ask Honorable, let him answer alongside. Honorable Kiplagat and Kibagendi.
Chair, thank you. You know, as I sit here, I represent the constituency that consumes the most fertilizer. In fact, more than 90% of all the other counties. And I can see from the figures, so far, soy has consumed around 115,000 bags, which is just 30%. We are still waiting for more consignments. Chair, you remember at the floor of the House, I was particularly concerned on the slow distribution of the fertilizer that was happening. But I'm a worried man on the presentation of the CS. and I wish CS was actually on our side, because there are two facts, PS. One of it, why we are here, is because of the SPL Innovate, which I have also seen they have come with capital, 51 capital. Maybe we shall know which one is which. And the fact is, from the presentation of KEPS, what is on the back as the nutrients and what was tested is different. That's a fact. What they are selling, the composition of what they are selling, and the composition that the license was given for the organic fertilizer is different. That's a fact. The second fact is that, which has come from the ministry on your last press release, is that NPK 102610, that is from Kale Chemicals. We don't know the company that was supplied. We have not seen Kale Chemicals from the suppliers. Maybe you will tell us which company is that. Was actually, from the presentation, that fertilizer is fake. You know, even from the last press release released by the ministry itself, and legal action has been from the last release was supposed to be taken. Those are fundamental facts that we need, as this committee we are sitting. We need to know, how did we end here. The other stories, we can leave it for the presentation when you write. So on those facts, I want to ask the following. First is on the distribution. You know, PS, we are in a crisis. From the North Rift, we are supposed to be planting the latest by 10th, which is just 2 days from, is it 2 days from now? The rains have been magnanimous enough. After, for the last 3 days, it has not rained for purposes of us trying to finish. But we find out that there are no enough fertilizer in some areas, especially the North Rift. We don't know what mechanism. We want to know the mechanism the ministry used to distribute the fertilizer, so that we end up to a situation whereby farmers have been queuing and there is no fertilizer. Up to now, we still have challenges. We know that you are saying there is a consignment that is coming, and our worry is, and the data is known by the ministry, our farmers, the last day they need to plant is on 10th. If it extends so much, maybe on 15th. Anything else, they'll result in the low production, or in terms of production, and it will really affect the food security. So that is one. Secondly, on the issue of substandard fertilizer, it's a bit sad that we have two important authorities that are supposed to guard us against that. We have KEPS, which is actually the universal in terms of product quality, and then we have KEFIS, which actually deals with our agricultural inputs. Now, the fact, CS, the fact is, SPL Innovate, that fertilizer, the soil composition or soil conditioner, we have a problem. KEPS have proved through tests that what they were given for them to be given license is different from what is being sold, and they have withdrawn. So we want to know, how did we get here? Whom do we pin? Do we pin KEPS because of the monitoring and supervision, or do we pin NCPP because they are also supposed to do quality? They have a quality assurance. Is it quality what? Quality assurance department, which are supposed to look at that. And we really want to know, from 2022 up to now, how much of this, do you say soil conditioner or fertilizer, whichever it is, how much has been sold? So those are facts that we need to get ourselves in. And lastly, on the issue of subsidized fertilizer, I wish we could not have gotten any fake subsidized fertilizer. But because we are there, we need to know this Kale Green, because they were blending, it is a blending a blending factory. What was the initial capacity they were able to produce, and in terms of what they were awarded? We want to know, last year they were awarded how many bags? This year they are awarded how many bags? Because I sense if they were able to produce maybe for calculative purposes, maybe their production is 50,000 bags per year, and you give somebody to supply 700,000 bags per year within 1 month. That is why he ended up collecting manure, fertilizer, and trying to package, and he didn't know how to granularize, and that is why we are in that mess. So we really want to know, and I think CS, we have a problem, and the best way is for you to join our side so that we can know really what happened, because in terms of proving that there's a problem that has happened, there's a problem that has happened. How did we get there? Thank you.
I think, CS, there's something you said which we need to correct. The fact that we have not talked about a fake fertilizer, and I actually want to refer to your document, touching on documents that are supposed to be provided to us to prove that what NCPB was distributing was okay. On page 9 of this document, the second paragraph, there is a paragraph that shows us from page 8 to 9. Now that paragraph, which starts with One Capital Kenya Limited. If you read that paragraph, it tells you that KEBS had all the documents. And these are documents marked as Annex 4. They are not here. You are saying you have provided the documents, but they are not here. So what are we dealing with? And these are the documents that are talking about the fake fertilizer, and the agency that deliberately distributes the wrong product. Maybe you more, or you do rather deal with that?
No, Chairman, I would want to take note of all those issues, Chair, that have not been provided, so that they organize another bundle for you, so that you can really be able to clear your minds, on what document has been made reference to.
I think
Chair, to be honest, this, and ask for indulgence for tomorrow, but
for Wednesday,
for Wednesday, so that because I was out of the country for the whole of last week, now I've come this morning from Meru directly to this meeting, so I'm also at times very neat in trying to check the annexes. So if they are missed out, this is an internal issue that I will have to deal with. But please, I would beg to be given time to supply you with the necessary material that is not what is alleged to be annexed, which is not. Because there is nothing, Chairman, to hide. And still again, insist that open a conversation, then we can discuss. I think they don't have.
I think you may have to reorganize your documents, because even the court order you are mentioning on page 10 as Annex 4C is also not there. So there are quite a number of documents that are missing, and you need to give us a comprehensive report. But I think I would like to suggest this. Can I give members a chance to ask questions, and then you have the package, you know how to deal with it. So we are over to Honorable Kibagenti. Maybe you can take note.
Thank you, Chair. Mine, Bwana Waziri, is to ask why now? Why now? We have had the same companies doing these fertilizer tenders for the last 2-3 years, but this has never happened. This is the first time we are getting issues of the fake fertilizer. Now, given the backdrop of the harvests that we got last time due to the subsidized fertilizer, and we were almost food sufficient, do you think that maybe these are cartels that are coming back to sabotage our produce, to sabotage our harvest, so that they can import maize. Because why now? Last year it was a success story. The other year, as long as we have had subsidized fertilizer, it has been a success story. So why would we be talking about fake fertilizer now on the backdrop of a bumper harvest? Thank you.
Systematically now.
Yeah, now I can ask my question. One, I would like to know from the distribution how they do their checkpoints, and whether there is coding, whether they can be able to trace from the supplier and even to the farmer. So as the farmers complain, we can know what is genuine and not genuine. I would also want to know whether the ministry has a compensation, because farmers use their money to purchase. How do you compensate those farmers who got the fake? I don't know whether it's a fertilizer or soil enhancer. I'm not so sure what it is. The other one, is he able to name, Chair? Is he able to name, and that is very specific, the supplier whose products have been flagged? Is he able to name for Kenyans to know? And then what steps is the ministry planning to do? Once you name the supplier, are you blacklisting, or are you still going to do business with that supplier? And is it possible also for you to do a recommendation such that such a person who takes advantage of our innocent farmers will not be allowed to do any other supply in this country or do business with government? On your officers, I think I'd asked that question. What steps, if there are officers who didn't take the necessary steps, what steps are you taking on that officer, on the officers? And finally, on KEFIS, I've seen many shortcomings. What is you asking from this committee? If it's about the amendment of your acts, if it's about the staffing, we are the committee that is responsible on the budgeting and everything else. What are you asking from us? I think there are some staff I've seen, there are only 3 in the whole country. I think 1 in Kitale and 2 in Nairobi. So I would like to see a proper document from KEFIS on what they're asking from this committee. And finally, maybe our CS is on the local production. Have your team done a proper research on local production of fertilizers? Do we have to keep on importing? Do we have a plan? Because farmers will be here. We are now working on food security. Is it cheaper for us to do the production here? How did it cost? We have all the raw materials. What is your asking or your recommendation from this committee so that we can also be able to build Kenya and buy Kenya? Thank you.